Hello, welcome back to Division I Rejects, episode 106. Our guest today, one of the newest Division I Rejects athletes, that's Preston Smith. The wide receiver from Davenport will be joining us here in just a couple minutes. If you are watching on YouTube, use the timestamps. Fast forward to that part of the episode. I had a great talk with him. Also, on a couple great topics today, as Kay gets a good yawn in over there in the chair.
Yep.
How we feeling? Energized, awake,
Yeah,
ready to go?
all that.
Today is June 26th as we're recording this. Only a couple topics today. The big one in the lower levels of college football world, Findlay University in Findlay, Ohio, I believe.
I think so,
I think so. They've got a brand new turf field that was just released by the Findlay Oilers Athletics account that we're going to take a look at. If anybody knows much about Findlay, you know that they play on a shared high school field right now.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't look like this will actually be a game field for them, just a practice field.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean,
Very interesting.
I don't think it's a game field. It's not even
a full field.
It's not even 100 yards.
Yeah, well, it is 100, but you need
it's
the end
not,
zones.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we're going to take a look at that one, so stick around for that. Also, reportedly, the Jets are the ones getting Hard Knocks. There are 4 teams right now technically eligible for Hard Knocks, the Jets being one of them, and the HBO show can force it on any of them. I guess the NFL technically would impose it on these teams, all of which have said, hey, we don't really want it. So, sounds like the Jets are going to get it. We'll talk about it, but as always, you can watch this episode on YouTube. Like I said, do not forget about the timestamps. You can listen pretty much anywhere else, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. Follow us on Twitter, D1_Rejects, and Instagram at Division I Rejects to see highlights from the show. We're getting sent out some of the gear for our D1R athletes. Just started today, so you might be seeing some of the guys getting some of that stuff, those packages, soon on the socials. And then I don't have a camera, but we will be posting our new sponsored athletes. Will be getting their images up on the wall here in the studio. Definitely be posting some updates about that. But on that note, let's get to the conversation with one of our newest athletes, that being Preston Smith. Joining the show tonight, a receiver from Davenport University, where he was top 5 in receiving yards per game in the GLIAC this past fall, 3rd in receiving touchdowns, one of the newest members of the D1R Athlete Project. It's Preston Smith. What's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
I'm great. Because we got you on board. I'm pumped. I was just saying before we got going, dude, like, you sent in your application. We'll talk about your story here in a little bit, but you read that. It speaks for itself. That's what we're trying to be all about. And I mean, to go with that, you're just a dude, like, on the field. You see the numbers. You have the production. And, you know, you go through that knee injury, and that's me, dude. I've had 2 ACLs now, and I sympathize with that right away. So you were definitely someone I was excited to get on the show, but also just excited to kind of bring into the project, man.
Yeah, it was tough. The knee injury is recent, so
Yep.
And it's my second one.
Yep.
So it's a journey, and I'm still on it right now. So
yeah, no, you ain't got to tell me, man. Shoot, I'm coming off my second surgery, and I'm like 7-8 months out doing a little lift up here just last month in the dome. And I hear it pop, and now I've got to tear my medial meniscus. And you're like, dude, like, I think someone told me the other day, they're like, universe is trying to tell you something. I said, well, guess what, man? I ain't trying to listen. Not to one word. That's just what it is. But like I said, glad to have you join us as a sponsored athlete. What was it that, made you want to come on and be a part of this?
I see what you guys are doing. Like, y'all, it's easy to go for the guys that are D1 that has all the publicity.
Yep.
And all of the followers and everything else, but you guys are like specifically targeting D2 guys, underrated guys, guys with a story that can inspire others that are D2, D3, and everything all over.
Yeah, 100%. And I just talked about the backstory a little bit before, and you gave me kind of the spark notes in your application when you sent that in, and that was just like, that's moving stuff, dude. So I just wanted to, I guess, first of all, just give you the floor and like share as much of that as you're comfortable with, because I think a lot of that stuff and the adversity that you've faced and the outlook that you have now on the other side of it, I think is really powerful stuff. So, man, wherever you want to start, the floor is yours.
So basically, high school, my junior year, I had a great start to my season. And like 5th game of the season, I tore my ACL and had to sit out for the rest of that season, and then went into, so with me recovering from that injury, I didn't get to go to camps, didn't get to get exposure or anything. So sat out, missed out on a lot, and then my senior year had a decent year, and didn't get the offers I wanted. So I ended up going to a JUCO, and then while transitioning to college, my brother ended up passing away, and then my other oldest brother had got sick and diagnosed with lymphoma or whatever, and mentally for me, I just couldn't take it. Being away from home, I'm very family oriented. I like to be around my family a lot. So with everything going on and not being able to be with my family, it was taking a toll on me. So I ended up having to move back home in the middle of the season. If I didn't, I was just gonna be damaging myself.
Yeah.
I was almost like I felt like I was depressed at the time. Like I couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything. So I ended up going home, being able to be with my family and stuff. And I still have my dream. Like I want to play football. I want to make it to the next level. That never stopped. So during the off season, I worked out literally nonstop. I worked with Wideout Tech. That was mainly the process that I was going through. I worked out with them every Sunday, Rising Stars and Wideout Tech. And then I don't know if you know who Rising Stars is, but
Oh yeah, we've had Win on the show, and
yeah,
we've all throughout connected. I got you.
yeah. So I worked out with him, and Coach Postma from Grand Valley came down,
Okay.
and he was asking about me or whatever, and decided to have me up for a visit or whatever. They ended up showing interest or whatever, and then offering me, and then towards the end, when it was close to me going up there, like officially, after I committed, they ended up taking the scholarship away. So uh, uh, I had to sit out for another year, and
because all your eggs were kind of in that. It sounds like all your eggs were kind of in that basket, right? That was
yeah,
what you had planned on, and that happens to a lot of guys. It's tough.
yeah. I went up there on my visit for a game, and I fell in love with it. Like the atmosphere, the field, the campus, everything that came with it. They have it all. So um so when after I committed and then they ended up taking my scholarship away, I was down like bad. I was crying, all of that. Like, yeah, it was bad.
Totally, man. I get you.
Uh so yeah, a few weeks later, one of my friends called me that was going to Adrian College, and they were like, "Shit, you basically aren't going anywhere else. You might as well come up here, get some film, and then do what you do after that." And at the time, I was just like, "Hey, ain't got nowhere else to go." So ended up going there. I played one season there, and then I was offered by Quincy and a few other schools, a few D2s and like one D1 school. I chose Quincy and left right after the season, and then they told me that that if I stayed at Quincy, that I would be ineligible for that following season.
Really?
Because I wasn't at Adrian for a full year.
Okay. Like an
So,
academic year.
yeah.
Yep.
So they were like, you can either go back and go back for one more semester and then be fully eligible when you come here, or stay here, sit out for a season, and then you'll be eligible the following years.
Damn. Yeah.
I didn't want to sit out anymore. It's already been.
No way.
I sat out for 2 years prior.
Yeah.
So I ended up going back to Adrian, and by that time it was the fall again. So played that season, got more offers after that, and went home, worked out, went to a few camps or whatever, and came up to Davenport. They were one of the schools that offered me, and instantly I fell in love with the school. I fell in love with the coaches, the atmosphere, everything. Coach Spark, he's a great dude. Like, for sure, he can talk to you. Like, knows how to move a room, and he would tell me like their agenda is not to lose. Like, they're building a program here to win it all, not just to win the GLIAC, like to win the whole shebang. So I want to win, and I see people that want to win around me. So that's ultimately what made me come here, and we won
I'm gonna
last
say
year.
yeah, I mean, you may have not won the whole thing yet, right? But you've certainly
Yeah.
taken like a very large step in that direction. So, obviously hats off to you guys. Two of those coming against us. So, yeah, whatever that is, what it is. But you had 3 games last year, over 100 yards receiving, and it just felt like, at least just from an outsider's perspective, you just at any moment, right? It could just be a couple big time catches, and then that's all that happened. So that first game, Truman State, huge win for you guys, by the way. You go to Truman State. They ended up having like an 8-3 season or something along those lines. They had a really good year. You guys go in
Yeah.
there, edge that win out by 1 point. You have over 100 yards in that game. What did that do for your confidence personally? You talked about sitting out, and you've gone through this whole tumultuous journey to finally get to Davenport, to be here, and then you go out in that first game and you just have this electric performance, and more importantly, you guys end up winning that one.
For me, I don't know. I didn't have jitters at all. It was
I
like
love that. I love it.
it was like a get back thing for me.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I want it all. Like I don't know. When I play now, it's like I got a chip on my shoulder because I think about all of the opportunities that I missed, about like not being able to go D1, not all the schools that passed on me, GV, like everybody that looked past me. So when I step out on the field, it's like I'm here. I'm ready to work. So and I want your neck. I'm here. I'm
Oh, yeah.
not playing no games, nothing. So um that was a hot game, but it was fun though, for sure. It was the first game out at the D2 levels, way more competitive, and for sure my body was beat up after those games, for
I
sure.
bet, dude. Hey, screw one chip, by the way. You got like, I don't even know how many at this point. You talk about a chip on your shoulder, man. You got a pile, all right?
Yeah.
And you carry it. I respect it. Now, how about the team conference? When you talking about you guys, the Panthers, as far as the season goes, coming out there, and a team that obviously you guys were 100% bought in. You have these expectations, but again, from an outsider's perspective, I'm not in the building with you guys. Davenport's kind of a wild card, especially when you
Yeah.
add in all the transfers that you guys had last year. Just didn't know if you guys can be able to gel and put it all together. What was the team confidence like after that first big win on the road?
So I forgot what day the GLIAC Media Day was, but that's usually when they release the rankings of the preseason.
Yep, I got you.
And we had a meeting after that day. Like when our coaches got back up on campus and all of that, we were ranked last in our conference.
Yeah.
So instantly we had that meeting, and everybody saw that we were ranked eighth, I believe. And that's what put the chip on everybody's shoulder. It was like, go in, and we know we're not last, so show it. And and with everybody being on campus in the summertime, we had a lot of time to build up chemistry and just gel together. And I think, like, talking to guys that was on the team before me, that's what they were telling me. It was like really segregated and not really gelled together the years before. So I think that was the biggest thing this year.
Yeah, I feel you. Now, what'd you do to get guys to buy in and be on campus? Because for a lot of guys, they have, not everyone is so determined to just do that work and put it in every day. And it's a lot. It's a lot to ask from guys. So how do you get guys to show up and really be bought in on campus in the summer?
Just being motivated, honestly. Like if you want the chance to make it to the next level, you got to work. If you want to win and beat the best teams in our conference and other conferences, win the natty, like, you have to work. So that's mainly what they preach over here. And it was dang near mandatory. Like if we gonna do it, then we got to do it. Like, everybody has to be here. Everybody got to put work in. And really, it was like everybody was here. It was surprising to me because like for us, we don't have meal plans and stuff in the summer. Like our cafeteria and all of that is closed throughout the summer. So it's like you got to get a job. You got to find food for yourself, basically. And everybody was able to do it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's tough. You're on your own, man. And when we had Connor Neer on here a couple weeks ago, and I asked him what the biggest difference was, going from Ferris, now he's at Oklahoma, and he's like, man, we're eating like kings. Like, this shit is no
Man, I
joke.
saw it. I saw it. And I was like, damn.
Imagine that, bro. He's talking about bringing Tupperware and bringing home a meal, and they got this times every day. You just pop on in, get yourself a little meal, and get you all fueled up, man. That'd be something. But no, you're 100% right. That's a big deal. And guys got to have jobs. It sounds cliche. You got to put bread on the table, put food on the table. But like, dudes need to, especially these college guys who might not have a lot of money to their name at this point in their lives. It's really tough. So let's talk a little bit more about that run that you guys went on. Obviously, very impressive, albeit some very close games down the stretch. But the thing was, you guys always found a way to be on top, right? And that is a testament to a strong team, and not something I would usually attribute to a team like you guys, where you're very fortunate to be around each other in the summer. But with all these different new pieces and new faces, that's not something you would usually think of, right? And how are you able to get these guys together and be on that same page? Because when it came down to it, fourth quarter, last minute drive, whatever, everyone seemed to be, at least again, from my perspective, clicking on the same page.
I don't know. It was tough. Like you said, like people coming in, like Cy Barnett was one of the guys that came in unexpected.
Absolutely. He had to be fun to play alongside. Shit.
Yeah. He came in literally 2 weeks before first game.
Damn. Are you serious?
Yes. So he came in, learned the playbook. All of the receivers were like, what is this? Like, what's going on? Like, he's a good dude or whatever. So he came in and was instantly like a threat to others.
Of course.
But he came in, he worked. He did not come in expecting to like be a one or anything. He put in work and he earned everything he got. And man, like when we got on the field during game day, all of that, it was like he's been playing with us since he was a freshman. Like,
that's
it was
awesome.
crazy. So I don't know. I don't know. I think Sparky and everybody, they did a good job recruiting guys that gel with others instead of like getting guys that like, I'm that dude and it's all about me.
That's big.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's super important. It's hard to judge that too sometimes, definitely. But the energy over there, when you guys are going on this streak, right? You're winning these games. It's like one after another. You just find a way late. But at the end of the day, you have those two looming on the horizon towards the end of the season. It was literally just the last couple games for you guys, Ferris and Grand Valley. What was the attitude, especially for you? We've already heard a little bit about your backstory. Talk about personally, but also the team, the attitude heading into those two. I mean, the ante and everything had to just be so electric and upped over there.
So first, when we played SAG, that was our first like pivotal game, in my opinion.
That's a great point. Yeah.
We played them, and it was like if they beat us, then they still had chances to go to the playoffs. And if we beat them, then we felt like we were solid, like we were going to be straight. So that was a great game. And then I was matched up with Nick the entire game.
Oh yeah.
And that was just fun all in itself. And then that game ended, we won by 1. And then the Ferris game, we already knew that it was going to be like a lot of hype over it, just because we were 8-0 at the time, and I think they were 7-1. But
yeah, they had the one loss to GV, but still, it was like,
yeah, they're the defending champs.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a big thing. Like we got to come in. We already knew we had to come in and set the tone and set it early, or it was going to be a long game. So going into it, I think we did a great job, especially defensively. We did a great job holding them the whole game. I mean, the whole first half, and then it just the weather and everything else just
that's their type of ball, man.
Yeah.
That is their type of ball for sure.
Yeah, and then at the same time, it's like they have the experience of being in those type of games, and that was like one of our first games where it's like we're in that type of atmosphere, because they're not, Davenport's not used to being in games like playoffs, all of that that goes to itself. So
that's real. No, that's super real, because Ferris has gone on these runs, man, and they're in those high pressure, high stakes moments, and those type of snaps, those experiences are just invaluable when you talk about even though this is a regular season game.
Yeah.
But you talk about the implications this had as far as playoff hopes and everything go, and I think you're spot on. Now, you guys did still make the playoffs, which was a huge accomplishment in itself to be, to have 3 teams in one league make the playoffs, with Saginaw being almost a snub. The 4th team, because you got Indy was ranked number 8. They come into Sag's house and get thumped, and you're like, this is it, man. So that was obviously awesome for you guys. But now looking back on it on the other side retrospectively, what was the difference, and where do you think you guys need to make? Not that it has to be one area, but if there was, where is the difference, and where do you need to make that jump to take that next step? And you guys have that experience now. What is it like this year?
I think it's our mentality. And like last year was our first year with our offensive coordinator, and he did a great job last year. So now we have a full year under our belt. We got a full year with me, Jason, and all of the other guys. We got Myron Harris that came in from Wayne, and just so many more pieces that are here now, and we all have the same goal. So I think now it's just putting it all together at the end of the day, and not making those rookie mistakes. Like, I feel like some of the games that we played in were close because we made a lot of rookie mistakes. So it's just pulling away and running off with it from jump, rather than playing around with teams and staying in it until the last second.
Yeah, I think that'll be a great test for you guys and a testament to how much you improve. You look at those games, and how does that win differential change this year, right? Like, you guys were at Wayne State, and it took I believe a last-minute touchdown, like almost right at the end of the game, for you guys to pull that one out against a team like Wayne State that, with the run you guys were on, you're like, okay, yeah, they're probably going to roll over them. No, like, that thing was just down to like a nail biter. So I think I'm with you. I think that'll be a really good test for you guys to see how does that win differential change. And that's what the best teams do, right? They beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and they do it handily, and they don't leave any doubt. And that's something that you guys can certainly do. The record was certainly there last year, but like you said, there's always room for improvement. But let's talk about you a little bit more, though. You go down with that injury out of all games, the Grand Valley game, right?
Yes.
Just brutal. And what went through your head in the moment? Did you know immediately, or how about when you found out?
I knew immediately because I've done it before.
Exactly.
So I already knew, but I still wanted to go back out there. I asked, they took me to the training room, and I asked for a brace, and I was just like, just give me a brace, and I'm gonna go back out there. We're good. And they kept walking away from me, like trying to keep secrets, and so they wouldn't let me go back out there, basically.
Yeah.
And
that's
but it was first quarter when it happened, and I was pissed. So I don't even know. I have a bigger chip on my shoulder this year. So I'm just letting it ride. I got a lot of energy stored up, and I'm gonna wait.
Yeah, I feel you. Now, how do you deal? I think everyone kind of handles it differently. I think the first 24 or 48 hours is like really significant after a major injury or whatever, how you respond to that. Do you have any way of something you resort to, or something that you do to kind of handle? Because there's just so many emotions, right? And that comes with everything. I think injury is just a great example of that. Is there anything you do, or any way that you handle that specifically?
No, I feel like I handled the first few months pretty well. Like, I was really positive, like the day after. And only day that I feel like I got sad was the playoff game, like when they played for so I felt like I let the team down, not being able to be a part of that and help out. So that was my only thing where I broke down. But other than that, my whole process has been pretty smooth, and it's just a few days here and there where I'll get a little wishy-washy with,
and that's totally allowed, dude, and it's totally normal. I think that's the thing that people forget. Like, I don't know anyone who has gone through something like that and just been this glass totally full attitude every day. And if they don't, first of all, they don't exist. I was gonna say if they do exist, they don't. Fuck that,
Yeah.
they don't. There's nobody. That person does not exist, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to recognize like that is 100% normal. And anyone who says that's not the case is spitting bullshit. That's all it is.
Yeah.
So totally respect you for saying that. But now you're on the other side of it, and even if you're maybe not back to 100 and 110%, whatever it is, where do you feel you're at physically, but also more importantly mentally, and getting confidence back? Where do you feel like you're at in that regard?
I honestly, I feel better than I was before.
Good.
When I first started running, I felt rusty, but that didn't take too long for me to get back to feeling like moving like how I used to. And I don't know, like a lot of not being able to run and stuff. I was doing a lot of upper body, core and stuff like that. So I for sure got stronger. And
I see some dudes get top heavy doing all that now.
Yeah.
They hurt their leg. All of a sudden, their bench press goes up 30 pounds, and their legs are just getting smaller and smaller.
That's damn near how I am right now. I'm this month and next month I'm focusing on all legs.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, right now I'm just being patient and trying to be smart because if another injury comes, then it could jeopardize my future. So
totally. It's like you've got my little script up here because that's what I wanted to finish on, man. Your future. I'm assuming that future, the goal is to play at the next level, to try and have some professional aspirations. Am I correct?
Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, I don't even know this whole journey that I've been on, being at Adrian, being at all my other schools, I've been good or whatever, but I never got any conversations about the NFL, never got any never had anybody contact me or anything. And until I got here, I don't know if it was Sparky or just, I don't know, God. But I've been getting a lot of attention and recognition for everything. And it's been like kind of surreal. Like I still can't believe it now. I don't know when the day will be when I'm like,
when the opportunity presents itself, right? Like, the real, like, tangible opportunity. I think that's, like you kind of said it. It's a representation, a testament to the system they have with Sparky and that coaching staff and the way that they can connect guys with at the next level and the way they prepare you. But also, you just got to go out in the damn field and do it and put up the numbers and have the production. And so you've certainly done that as well. But on the other side of things, I should have done my research. Did you get your degree from Davenport?
Not yet. This year I will be.
This year in what?
In the fall.
In the fall. No, like what's the degree in?
Sports management.
Sports management. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. I'm always just curious about that because I mean, shoot, you know the stats just like everyone else is, but I don't even bring them up because if you're too busy focused on the stats, then that's effort and attitude and all kinds of energy you could be putting into something else, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. But, Preston, my man, a lot of respect to you. Thank you so much for coming on. Excited to have you on board here. And they're going to have some big stuff here in the future. I'm excited to see you back out on that field this fall, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, dude. We'll be in touch, right, brother?
Yep.
See ya. Appreciate Preston coming on. Now, the piece for today, and Kate, I guess I should say, too, the part you missed with Preston. Playing in high school, after junior year, tears ACL. I'll give you the spark notes. Tears ACL, right? And then kind of has a decent senior year. Sounds like he's going to go to Grand Valley, commits. And then right at the end, they take his money away, take a scholarship away.
Right, you were telling me this the other day.
Yep. And then after that goes JUCO. Brother passes away. Other brother gets diagnosed with lymphoma. Goes home. Yeah, goes home. And then, trying to figure it out, ends up at Adrian. Tries to go D2 to Quincy, doesn't have the eligibility, blah, blah, blah. Has to go back to Adrian, and then now is out at Davenport, and finally has kind of put his season together, but then obviously tore his ACL in that Grand Valley game. So the man has been through a lot, and he's a dog. He's definitely a player, so I'm excited to see him back out in the field. He had a great story.
Yeah, I remember playing against him last year. He's a good player.
Yeah, I'm certainly really excited to have him be a part of this. But the school that we wanted to talk about is Findlay University, and their new facility. And like I said in the intro, Findlay plays on a shared high school stadium right now. And it's a really nice high school stadium. I'll pull up a picture right here so we can take a look at it. Donnell Stadium is the name of it. But at the end of the day, it is still a high school stadium. So, okay, take a look at this guy right here. You can see it's Findlay in the end zones. Like, I'm assuming that is the majority of the games that are played there are Findlay. But also the high school, I guess they just get overruled. You don't get your name in the end zones. As far as high school stadiums go, it's a pretty nice one.
It's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice. I do believe Ben Roethlisberger went to this high school, I want to say.
You serious?
There was some big NFL alum. I want to say it was Roethlisberger. Could I have done a little bit more research? Yeah. But I visited here, and I remember seeing some type of plaque. I know there's some big-time alum who have come through here, but that is the current field where Findlay plays all of their games. And this is not just a run-of-the-mill D2 either. Like, this is a really good squad in the GMAC who has had a lot of success in recent history. This stadium, Donnell Stadium,
they won the conference championship 2 years ago.
they did. Like, this team has had a lot of success. And this stadium here was opened in 1928.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's going on 100 years old.
Yeah,
And obviously there's been renovations made, I would assume.
It's like right on the
over that
river
time.
there, too. You see in the top right? It's like a river.
There's a little bit of water behind that. You're right. Now, the high school Trojans and the University of Findlay Oilers, they share the field. So the Trojans are the team. I don't know what high school that is, but it was provided and named after James C. Donnell. It seats 7,500 people and is in the south end of Findlay. Now, for Findlay, for the football players, they have to actually like ride over there, which is I just think is never great. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think it's just like not even that's great, but I think it's just something with nowadays with recruiting even. You know, you gotta,
totally.
You got to tell your guys you got to drive over to the field to practice.
That's a big turnoff, like 100%. But now we can take a look at again, this is not a new game stadium for the Oilers, but this is the rendering that was released on Twitter by the Findlay Oilers Twitter account here.
Yeah.
And you can see right there, the Dick Strom Champions Field. That is what has been announced. They're excited to open this facility. It's going to be an 83,000 square foot turf field in the heart of our campus. Now, I've never heard anyone describe a field by using square footage. Are they only doing this because it's not a full field? Is that the deal here?
I just don't understand why they wouldn't just make it a full field.
You know what I mean?
It's a little section, bro. Yeah. Like,
well, there's obviously an existing building there, which certainly makes things difficult. But I know this field house.
It just gives me terrible. Like, I just hate looking at that.
I know. It's so close, right? That's why. But this field house that's on the right side, I know they do a lot of their winter conditioning, and I think they even did some of their indoor practicing in that field house on the right side. I've been in that building.
What did that comment say? Such a time saver going from meetings to weight room.
What's that?
The comment on the bottom right. I'm just looking at the comment. What does it say? Yeah.
But it'll be interesting for sure. Now, reading some of the information about this, basically right in the heart of campus. So the facility's location is certainly important. The 83,000 square feet of turf is very interesting. Says utilized primarily by the football program, will also serve as an auxiliary practice space for many of the department's 22 NCAA-sponsored sports, but also utilized by the university's intramural programs, as well as various community organizations, including Upland Sports of Finland.
Is it bigger than, like, wider than an actual football field, or is it the same width and everything? Like, I don't.
That doesn't
what's
look.
83,000 square feet?
Again, that the figure means nothing to me.
Yeah,
it's so odd. Yeah. So to me, it looks like it's just a small logo, and I'm assuming it's the regular width of a football field. Because what advantage would that serve?
Dude, I don't know. There's a freaking building in the left corner of the end zone, so I do not know.
And it's funny because it was very specific on here that they talked about. There is an extra little space you can see in that back corner for extra like individual work and other things. So they're almost transplanting that back corner of turf, and they've moved it into another section.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do over there?
Exactly.
Long snap.
They say here that over the past 2 months, 60% of the funds necessary have been secured. So it's always very interesting with these things is that they get these projects approved without actually having the monetary backing to follow through with them. Understandably so, because a lot of the time you have to pitch the actual images to people to get them to cough up the money.
Right.
And I mean, it's just tough. It's tough for Findlay fans. Like this is certainly big.
No, don't get me wrong. It's huge. Like I was just thinking, it must be the time for like literally every university ever to get a new
Yes.
facility or new turf, new everything. Think about it. That's like the new wave.
It is. And I was talking to our mutual friend over at Findlay about this. Guess what he said? He's never fucking heard of it.
Really?
He didn't even know it was a thing.
Are you serious?
One of our buddies plays linebacker over there, and he had no idea this was even in the works.
So like this got to be years out.
No. You would think it would be, right? You would think, oh, this thing must
2023.
This thing is expected to be completed by the end of August 2023. So come fall, really kind of towards the end of fall camp, this thing should be operational. The football team will probably be able to use it. Did you expect that?
That's ridiculous.
That is obscene.
That's actually ridiculous. Wow.
I've got, let's see. I've got one more image here that I think I can pull up that is just like an overhead view. Yeah, let's get a nice. Oh, great quality on that, huh, kid?
Mm-hmm.
But there's the overhead view. To me, that just looks like a normal football field with that extra little section on the top there and just that jank ass left corner. It's so close.
Dude,
Damn
it's
it.
just so like unpleasing to look at.
Yeah, it's like not satisfying.
Looks
at
like
all.
Nebraska, the state.
Oh, that's pretty good. It is actually kind of an interesting fact here. The field will be constructed by Maumee Bay Turf Center that operates out of Oregon, Ohio. I didn't know that was a city. It's run by a 1991 University of Findlay graduate, Brad Morrison. So that's kind of pretty interesting. This is a 100-yard turf facility. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. Goalpost in the north end zone. And here it says, the extra room for positional work in the northwest corner of the field. That's what we were talking about before. It will be lit. The facility will be lit. That is in the article here.
No.
It will be lit. Shit's going to be lit. Assuming I didn't see lights up here, but I'm assuming they're somewhere.
Is it lit like L-I, like?
It's LIT. The facility will be lit. As I'm assuming that means lights and not the other thing that we're thinking of. But
Could be.
no, I don't think this facility is lit. But like we said, either way, big news for Findlay. Good for the Oilers. But just like not what you need. Like my only thing with this, you could be putting so much more. You could be putting this money towards an actual stadium.
Right.
Somewhere,
Like you're playing
right?
in high school.
You are. And I do understand the benefit of having this, like you said, for the other 22 NCAA sports.
Yeah.
It's big, but nonetheless, still big for the Oilers down there. Now, moving on to NFL talk, we only have one real piece today to discuss, and that is Hard Knocks. And it sounds like here that the Jets, the New York Jets, are going to be the ones to be back, I should say, to be back on Hard Knocks. And
Mark Sanchez,
you can see
Rex
the face.
Ryan,
You can see the
Darrell
faces
Revis.
of last time that the Jets were on Hard Knocks. I'm trying to think. I forget what year that was.
2010.
Was it
It
2010?
says right there.
It does. There you go. If I could read, then maybe we'd be all right.
Get the readers on, bud.
Yeah, it's so small on my screen here, but that's no excuse.
The Jets are now bracing for their involuntary selection to Hard Knocks.
Isn't the wording of that just hilarious? Like you're
Like,
preparing for
like what?
for impact.
So dumb, dude. Just like.
But like we said, so, with this situation, it's very unique because, the teams that are eligible for Hard Knocks, we can take a look here at what those teams are.
Like Rodgers on Hard Knocks, bro.
Exactly. So there you have it, the kind of stipulations there. The Jets, the Saints, the Commanders, and the Bears are the only 4 NFL teams that can be forced, keyword there, forced to do Hard Knocks this season. The conditions by the NFL to be able to force a team, that is teams who have not made the playoffs in the past 2 years. They have to be without a new head coach. The coach has to have been there before. And they have not been featured on the show in the last decade. So the Jets barely kind of making it out of that last piece of criteria there. So the Jets are prepared to be selected. I mean, why wouldn't they be? With Rodgers going over there, that's all the storyline they need.
You're not going to the Commanders, no offense. You're not going to the
Especially
Bears,
with
no
the ownership.
offense. Like you could go to the Saints because like Jameis Winston and like they have like personality and like
Sean
not,
Payton's
Jamal
gone.
Williams is there again.
That's true.
And but like the Jets make sense. Like there's this hype around the Jets. I mean, Mr. Ayahuasca himself is there, so like
just spoke at a psychedelic conference the other day.
yeah.
Did you see
He
that?
wants people to
To open their eyes.
No, he wants people that shit on him, for lack of a better word, that shit on him that took it to go take it themselves and see how they feel.
Yeah.
What are his words?
great advice.
So there might be like a huge jump in ayahuasca sale or something. If there's like a stock in that.
There is more than just ayahuasca, I'm sure. But no, it will be interesting. I mean, the Jets, I thought I read they hadn't had a winning season in like 12 years. Something along those lines.
Scary if true.
Yeah. Well, what was their record last year?
The
Right
Jets?
around 500, weren't they?
I mean, they were above 500 for the longest time, and they shat the season away.
That's what I thought. Yeah, they definitely didn't finish that way.
No, they finished a couple games, maybe one game.
They
Michigan
have some
State
young
trending
talent.
on Twitter. Nice.
I didn't see that. Oh, yeah. But, well, that could be good or bad.
Well, they just
You never know.
got 2 4-star twins and a 4-star corner yesterday,
That's good stuff.
and a 4-star running back the day before that.
Damn, there you go. But as far as the Jets go, they have seemingly a young core with some really good talent of picks the last couple of years. They acquire some guys in trades. Then obviously Aaron Rodgers is the main storyline, and he brings over his baggage of assets with him, right? With guys like Lazard and other weapons offensively. So I'm with you. It feels like the obvious choice. I don't really know if they can brace all they want. It sounds like they're probably going to end up with that.
Yeah, it's buckle up.
Yeah,
It's coming.
We should be the ones buckling up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's coming though. Just be ready, New York.
Is the in-season Hard Knocks, is that over with? That's a good question.
I sure hope so, because
it doesn't seem. It seems odd. I love the whole training
I
camp
couldn't buy
aspect.
into it, to be honest.
No, it also could have been the teams, right? It was the Colts, and then it was who? The Cardinals, right? The Cardinals.
Yeah, they're shitty.
Yeah, I think that might have been part of it too. It's the Hard Knocks. The show is fantastically produced, but at the end of the day, it only goes as far as the storylines and the athletes and the coaches.
Yeah, like I'm sure Cardinal fans loved it. Probably not, because their team sucked. But like the Colts fans probably hated it too, because their team sucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess we were the only ones that liked it.
But that's the thing. If they are sticking to this type of criteria, you can't have these superstar teams in there. Because so our team, now you're like, a team plays well to reduce this chance or take it out of the contention for Hard Knocks. It's like a motivator at this point.
We're not on Hard Knocks the next decade or 2 years. The next 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. You get a buffer for making the playoffs. That's so funny. That means well, and I didn't even bring it up earlier. The Lions were approached to be on Hard Knocks again, and reportedly, and turned it down.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, I wouldn't want it again if I were the Lions.
no way. No way.
They did their due diligence this time. Their time to win now. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Like, they're done with the bullshit.
They should have 2 years where they're not going to allowed to be on Hard Knocks.
People know what they're about at this point. Like,
that's true. Yeah. There's going to be some changes, but not enough to, like, a lot of the storylines will be the same. It just,
yeah.
I think what probably happened there is that the Lions, the numbers for that, like that series of Hard Knocks, were probably off the charts, to be honest.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't. I feel like
it's hard to
especially
replicate
like because it's like going into the season, people still have like the itch, like for football and like what's going on. And then you get to end season and it's like, all right, well, I get to watch him play Sunday. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, I'll just see what happens. Like, especially if you're the Cardinals fan, your franchise quarterback's hurt. Your team sucks. Your star wide receiver is not playing. You know what I mean?
Suspended.
Like,
and also, it's like you're not actually watching the days leading up to Sunday. Like when you're watching, you know what happens in the games.
Yeah, it's weeks. It's never regular season.
And you can't expect that from that crew. Like, that would be borderline impossible to have a type of feature production like that produced before the game. That means, and their team is incredible, but they're not Jesus. If Jesus knew how to edit videos, I don't know. I think it was his thing.
Yeah.
But,
well,
yep. That's all we've got for today. Tune in later this week. We've got a great episode from, I won't say the name. We'll leave it ambiguous.
Yeah.
But tune in. Another great guest later this week.
TBA.
Yes. Thank you for tuning in. Division I Rejects.